may I hand over to the guys? Ms. Niharikka, Puri.
Very good morning. Namaste. I'll be just discussing the research initiatives in the development of technology. So I am thankful to SIA-India for inviting Bharat 6G Alliance, the organization I represent. It's 9-month-old, one can say. So just started crawling baby. So I'll be discussing what are various 6G initiative standards, how a company like India would become an innovator from consumer of technology. So that's, I think, if I can answer that question, I think that will be my priority. Since I am here in the event which is meant for space companies, so what are the various collaboration opportunities? How can we work together? And from today itself, to become an innovator in the country. So let me start. What are the various key recommendations? I think it appears that I could not read, but let me say that region. Yeah, I think this is better. So these are the these initiatives. We call it technology race, you can say. So it came 1G started with the 1980 and 2020 or 5G. They call it their, one can say, language. So IMG 2020 is 5G, 6G will be somewhere like 2030. What's important that India has been consumer of technology. So we never know what is called 1G, 2G, 3G. So whatever was being given to us, we were saying yes, it's the 2G, 3G and 4G. We joined this technology race, starting with the 4G itself. So presently I think we are among the 4 or 5 countries in the world that we have also our own 4G manufacturer, and that equipment is being right now deployed. It's come the 5G, then definitely we have more than that. And in release 17, India IPR, we call it LMLC and 5GI. So that is part of release 17 of 3G. So there are certain organizations across the globe. In case of wireless, it's 3G people. So with the help of organizations called Telecommunication Development Society India, TSDSI, that is a, one can say, research organizations, and they give the research based inputs to global forums. And we are giving right now our contributions at 3G people. So in their language, its release started with the 15, the 5G, and it's moving like even now they are discussing release 18. And once it will come, then they will call it 2020, but somewhere 2020. India also thought that earlier we have been the consumer of technology, how can we be leader? So we came up with 6G vision, and it's based on three, one can say, main pillars. It has to be affordable. Once we see affordable, for India it's something less single digit ARPU in dollar terms. Sustainable and ubiquitous. Ubiquitous, one can't think without satellite. Okay, I think we have been in the retail part. So we have to combine together PN and NPN. That's why I think that there are so many recommendations to make India a leader in technology. But for this conference, it's the space terrestrial integration. That ensure ubiquitous coverage through space network integration. That is part of our 6G vision statement released by Department of Telecommunications. Even sustainability, one system sustainability, you can't think without the presence of this space segment, satellite communications. So this was the purpose of covering this here. Once it's come the technology, what are the various technologies? Here you will also see that integrated terrestrial and non-terrestrial network is one of the technology which as a country India is focusing on. If with the help of this diagram, I would like to just, I think that that's very easy to connect here, that is how the 6G will help in ubiquitous connectivity. Even though once we say ubiquitous connectivity, then subsequently at the last I have that slide of INT 2030, where they indicated that what are the various 6 hexagon and then outer circle indicating that what are the various parameters or KPIs of a technology which they call 6G. So as a country, for making it an innovator and not be dependent on others, we have to work on all these verticals. So why that, let me spend here 2-3 minutes. I was part of this Bharat 6G mission document which was released by another Prime Minister. So I was a member secretary at the time in government. And making India 5G ready report of 2018, when we first time came up that what are various actions to be taken by any government or making the country leader in technology. Even spectrum, one can say, so please come. And let us welcome our chairman, Mr. R. Mittar sir. I started with your permission, I will just continue. Very nice, 6G. So, making India 5G ready, what is important to us that we made available to the country highest ever spectrum, and that's why all the operators, they can't say that they don't have the NFA spectrum for the provision of service. There were regulatory policies under that we worked with the various state governments, and now if you want to do the small cells, whether it's on building or street furniture, you can do. But when we went to the user message department, that was the main topic I want to discuss. All the departments were saying, why Department of Telecommunication is coming to mining or health or education, that you do the use structure. So I think that culture has to change, and that's why if you just say 5G, presently we are not, utilizing 5G in two sense. We are just doing the connectivity part. Whereas 5G means connectivity plus compute, and then you create unlimited collaboration. So many applications are there. So presently we are very happy and just having the higher speed and we are. But even operators, why they invest in the spectrum, that precious spectrum, if they don't have the use case. So this use case will come from all these domains I have mentioned. So that's why even they are relevant for 5G, 5G, and 6G. So I'm sure that country as will move, then this use case will be mature, and by 6G entire architecture will be changed. For realizing this Bharat 6G alliance was constructed. It was launched by Honorable Minister on 3rd of July. So very soon we will complete 1 year. And it's a research platform. We are bringing together academia, industry, even startups. Because all have to work together. So one can say that Bharat 6G alliance is neither a standard body nor associations, but it's a research collaborations. And in what there are so many other organizations like NextG Alliance that is formed under EDIS, 6G IA under Europe, 6G forums in Japan and Korea. So they are all research institutions and bringing together in consortium. So we are also doing that we are bringing together industry, academia, and more importantly that first time TSPs are leading these institutions. Otherwise, service providers they used to come at the level when the technology was mature, and they were just doing the vendor selections with OEM. So I mean, it's more important from the very beginning of development of technology, operators should be part of that. So we have realized that CTO's level operators are leading also, and this we are doing not for the India, for the world. This is a simple organization structure that all the inputs goes to Government 6G Apex Council, and it's headed by currently at TCS Mr. N.G. Subramaniam, and we have some working groups. But more important is that we are working closely with the different wings of the government. I will say Department of Telecommunication, Telecommunication and WTSA, they are all Ministry of Communication maybe. But DST, Ministry of Defense and IT, Department of Space, Railway, MHC, they are all part of our governing council. So I think we are getting the directions from them. And there are 7 working groups, spectrum that how the country should prepare for 2030 and beyond. Because I think it's discussed at WRC. So WRC 28 agenda already finished. And we be innovator and write our own specific agendas from 31, 35. So our entire purpose of the alliance is to influence the decision making process at global level and ensure that our research, our innovations is taken into account. Same with the device technology, sensors and manufacturing. Purpose is that IoT is even like satellite will be there, but I think we just communicating with so many IoTs, reduced stability, IoT and others, so many new development. So whether these sensors are imported, devices are imported, then what as a country India should do? So can we develop those boxes or you can see modules and put all in those mechanical devices so that we be Atmanirbhar, self-reliant in the device, sensors and manufacturing in India. In fact, I was in charge of PLI when I was part of the Department of Telecommunication Standardization. Technology access part. So definitely I think we will be working. As I told that ubiquitous connectivity, affordable sustainability. The requirement of India is entirely different than the requirement of the world. So no country can write specs or requirement for a country like India. Once our only startups, engineers, scientists can define what is the various requirements or expectation from 6G. And I could see that the same chairman, Mr. Mittar sir, he championed that, and we got included coverage, interoperability, and one more sir I am just missing. Those were the requirements from India. That if you are saying that we want to go in the coverage in rural areas, hilly areas, then and they are part of IMD requirement at the last. And more important, the last you see CT use case revenue stream that is headed by CTUs, that we should have certain use cases where they can get the revenue out of it. Then only that will make the difference for the country, not only India. In fact, I discussed it at a 3GPP, which is requirement, and the same was the view across all stakeholders that operators are looking for some revenue stream, and how can our innovators, our startups develop some technology for the world. I think I'm not saying that we do for India only, but we are open, we can do any part of the world. These are the various focus on standard contributions. I am sure that we will be working, but in every human education and distance learning, emergency natural calamities, hospital connectivity, and these are the, I think, our focus is. So we have to work with, again I am referring to academia, startups, so they have to come forward. People say that it will come in 2030, no it's not. It will be piloted from 26 onwards. So I think we have to be the developer of technology, not the user. Already Department of Telecommunication, they invited the proposals, and 470 proposals are being right now evaluated under the accelerated research on 6G ecosystem. I am sure that more than 100 will be part of this 6G development. And these are the various R&D projects approved by Department of Telecommunication. So they are more than maybe $100 million, like quantum vision, AI vision, and digital twin. We are just, I think, we have this in the phase 2. How can we utilize digital twin in not only planning but taking decisions? Like if traffic management, it can be traffic management, it can be disaster, it can be. I think you can just imagine use decision, it will be, this technology can be. And 6G is all about all physical, how can you make it digital, I will say. So there won't be any gap as far as technology is concerned. Bharat 6G Alliance has in 3 coalition agreements, Multi Alliance of USA, 6G Smart Network Services Industry Association of Europe Council on 2nd March, and 6G Flagship Institute of Puri. And I am sure that very soon we will be happy with the rest. Multi Alliance, NGL, Next Generation Mobile Network Operators. I am discussing in 6G Europe, India, and Japan. Purpose is that how can we make available to our researchers a collaborative platform they can discuss and they should not duplicate. So we have to work in collaboration group along with the world and not develop technology for Vision 3, which India comes to, but Vision 1, 2, 3. Because I think we have to do innovation for the world. These are the, I think, just indicated our members right now. And TCS, Airtel, you will see, Tejas, Rajith, all are part of that. And if you are also working on research in 6G, then that's an opportunity for you to work with us. This is something for Global Satellite Association, because we do create a presentation at the 3GPP. So I am just indicating, so do the same pattern I am referring to. It says immersive communications, AI and communication. So one can say what is the difference between 5G and 6G? I just say that you had AI at all the levels, decision levels, artificial intelligence and sensing. Once you add that, then 5G will become slightly good towards 6G, and I am sure that in 5G advanced all will be taken care of. So here something that related to satellites, that global coverage satellites provide broad coverage reaching remote and unreserved areas, without land-based infrastructure. So our thought process has to be that how can we work together from the very beginning. At the 3GPP, the satellite came into this 17 itself in FR1, in FR2, that is being released 88. And in 20, they feel that how the satellite and terrestrial integration can be there. One converged network, right now it is working towards integrated network. We used to go from integrated to unified to it means all will be taken care of. And this is again a potential NTL use case. So these were the 2 slides. Again I am saying these are the NTL features in 6G and borrowed from Global 6G Operators Association. So these are the various things you can with the 6G. And I would like to thank you. We are hosting one event during the Indian World Congress on 16-17 on Global 6G Symposium along with the government and the TSDSI, DEC, all protocol. With this, I would like to thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. My apologies. Actually, I went to the session which was going on in the basement, and then I saw this call, and then I realized that I'm at a wrong place. But just to give you a brief introduction, my name is Mittar, and my career has been in standardization. So many years in DOT, in Telecommunication Center, which is the body responsible for standardization. At present, I am chair of Study Group 11 in ITUT, which goes and looks into the signaling aspects in the network. There are a couple of other responsibilities for Study Group 11. And some of you may be aware that in October, India is hosting World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly. It will be inaugurated along with IMC in Bharat Mandapam. I am also chair designate for WTSA. We are trying to encourage participation of the industry, of the academia in the standards activity. As Mr. Pathak just briefed, India has has to make a lot of efforts to really catch up. Last year, Honorable Prime Minister released Bharat 16 digital document, in which one of the desired goals was ubiquitous connectivity, as he just mentioned. I would like to just give you a brief of the experience I got at the standardization level. This was handled in ITUR. There was very thick opposition for the ubiquitous connectivity to be made a part of usage scenario. The three usage scenario for 5G, as we know, are the broadband, related to broadband, related to machine communication, related to low latency applications. But for the three, there was agreement on the sensing, there was good agreement on the compute being a usage scenario. But for the ubiquitous connectivity, there was very strong opposition from many countries, and it took a lot of efforts, including efforts at the level of diplomatic efforts, to get this on board. Because if you see, why should equipment provider be interested in the equipment being evaluated for connectivity, for the coverage? Because coverage is argued there in the standardization body. It is a deployment scenario. It depends on so many things. But we could convince, and there were a lot of support from the satellite players, because as you know that satellite is going to be ubiquitous sooner or later. I was going through a World Economic Forum, there's a report there, you can go to the website and see that what is the position of space economy. And the space economy in 2023 is around $700 billion. I'm talking of everything, including launches, satellite. So this will become $1.8 trillion by 2035. So with the ubiquitous connectivity as our requirement, at least the country of the length and breadth of India, I feel there is a lot of scope, and the satellite communication will have to meet it. Terrestrial communication will not be able to reach the goal of ubiquitous connectivity. But the important for Indian perspective is to be participating in standards. As we are speaking now, there is a meeting going on in ITUT sector where industry is participating, India from the TECs participating, because if we don't contribute towards the ubiquitous connectivity standards, what are the technical requirements and other fine details, how will it be tested, how will the technology be shortlisted for to be considered as a valid 6G technology. If we don't contribute, I'm sure that there is enough interest, especially by the tester players, to get this ubiquitous baby drop. So my only request to all the experts here is that take it as a challenge. When there is no dearth of when India is a software superpower, we all know. We need to maybe the devices is something we need to work on. They are required for, as Mr. Pathak also said, the devices is also a key focus area for India. The satellite TV, that report says the satellite TV revenues will fall, but the connectivity and the mobility, these are the two basic requirements that we have. So that I think there is enough for satellite players to be interested in, and as I told, we have to take very keen interest in standardization. Of course, there are spectrum issues, and there will be these are always there. They will be debated something in WRC 2027 also. And as Mr. Pathak said, we should be ready in driving the agenda for the next WRC 21 and 25. But there is a lot of scope. And coming to the T sector in ITU, the study group 13 takes care of study group 13, question 23 takes care of fixed mobile and satellite convergence. So those studies are and specification or standardization work is going on there. So this was in brief about my experiences with the standardization and the requirement of India kind of increasing its presentation, increasing its or making its presence felt at the international standards. Okay. So I think
thank you, sir, and thanks Rajith for giving the opportunity. And as you told, the IT is an important organ for the under the unit for telecommunication matters. On telecommunication issue, I do ask there, and for telecommunication issues, I do take takes care of the telecommunication issues. And WRC is a treaty level conference, which is binding. But whereas ITU WTSA, Global Telecommunication Standardization Association, the head in 4 years, is a non-treaty level, but all the administrations and addresses, they are bound by the standards scope history. And here India is honored to host the World Telecommunication Standardization Association Assembly 2024 from 15th October to 24th October in New Delhi. And we are honored and privileged to have and see Mittar as a chairman designate, as he told for WTSA. If you all agree, I request you all to stand and give a big hand. Because WTSA is first time for us we conduct this under SIA-India. So the WTSA is a main conference. Because it is going to take what I will do is I just know what are things which will be unfolded during the conference. So this WTSA 24 is takes care of the standardization for telecommunication and ICT. information communication technology sector. You know, the industry is aiming for harmonization standards that will become implementabilities and expand the business. So the standards are very important, and this WTSA 24 will review the solutions, recommendations. These are the standards that to meet the involved trends. So this resolution is therefore there are a number of solutions that are going to be modified. Some few solutions will be dropped. Similar recommendations will be also done. And before it is announced, before the communities are definitely on global standards symbiosis. Global standards symbiosis. So that we are going to on 14th October. This is the fifth effective GSC 24. That also will be chaired by Dr. Rajkumar Bhattacharya from CDAX. And theme for GS24 is shortening the list, digital wave, emerging technologies, innovation, and industry standards. This is a open platform. All can participate in this stakeholders participate and either will use. So one person will be drawn by the SIA, it will be subject to WTSA 24. And coming to WTSA 24, there will be the number of resolution. The resolution over deals with the rules of procedure. That only is how the study groups are conducted and the WTSA is conducted. So that will be reviewed and modified. Similarly, resolution got 20, so many resolutions are going to be modified. Resolution 20, 22, 29, 44 is for the gap in standardization between development and development. That also will be modified. Resolution 50 is the cybersecurity. That is also subject for modification. Similarly, 64 for IP address allocation and IP versus 6. That also will be modified. So similarly, there are several resolutions that will be modified. And few resolutions will be deleted also because then the message is not found. And WTSA also will elect a chair for Telecom Standardization Advisory Group, known as TSAG, because with the two WTSAs, that only this group will be the actions of the study groups. There are several study groups in ITP. This is study group 2 that takes care of operational aspects of service provision and telecom management. Study group 3 tariff and accounting principles. Study group 5 electronic bills and environment. Study group 9 audience to content transmission. Study 11 signaling requirements of protocols. What is the chair activity? He is the chair. And one of the main components is NGA, New Generation Networks. I think satellite also will be also NGA. I hope it is there. So that will be accelerated as study 12 is related to satellite. But study 30 is more important for us because it is the fixed mobile satellite convergence. So that convergence helps us. There was a question before the considering 2024. There was a question for that coming in 2023 that recommendation is now approved in the last study meeting in November meeting. That will be approved by the WTSA. That will help a lot to the satellite industry because the service and service requirements support fixed mobile satellite convergence for full connectivity various type of users. So the irrespective of the services, that is a big important thing that emphasizes. And this conference will take around we elect the chair vice chair for TSAG and all study groups. To report this because the identity is very sacrosanct in gender movement. Whether it is ID have ID also and WFCs also. But in ID it is very scopeless in gender movement. So now they have planned that this committee must have gender equality objectives. At least 35% female participation should be there. No gender balance delegation. No women as head of delegation. No women nominated for the study groups for the 4 years. That's all. This is the arrangement for me. So, some discount or if I'm not, sir can thank me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request Madam Puri to from the Chief Associate and PwC kindly share your experience of the industry, what is happening, and just discuss about the World Economic Forum report. What are your recommendations and what are your key learnings for the satellite industry?
Actually, if you look at the opportunity, so opportunity in the telecom and the satcom industry is huge. We are one of the largest consumers, like Pathak sir also mentioned, and we have to change that game now, and we need to be one of the largest manufacturers. We need to have an export potential. We need to develop our manufacturing capabilities. I first talk about the opportunities, why we can play and have to play a big role in WTSA is because the SATCOM industry is expected to be a 14 billion industry in India, and there is a huge export potential. Now, where does this potential come from? This potential comes from the connectivity requirement, the need that we need to connect our remote places. We need to contribute to BharatNet. So SATCOM is going to be one of the biggest contributors there. Apart from that, there are business needs where SATCOM is going to contribute, and we, with our big giant leaps that we are taking in terms of emerging tech and IoT, the use of SATCOM and connectivity again becomes very important. And that's how this huge opportunity of 14 billion is there in front of the industry that is there with us. Again, there's a huge export potential, and given our capabilities, whether it's the IT industry or the telecom sector, which has now to some extent matured on the terrestrial side, there is a huge export opportunity that we can cater to. Now, what do we have to do for this? In terms of what we have to do is we have to play a role in case of WTSA so that we pave the way for setting the standards that will drive the growth of the Indian industry also in the coming years. And subsequently, it will also open our doors to serve the global community. So that's why our role in WTSA becomes very important. Now, how do we do it? We know that traditionally, like Mittar sir also mentioned and Pathak sir also mentioned, we had the academia and to some extent the manufacturers playing a role and driving the requirements of standards. And the operators used to come in well after the standards were developed, and then there were issues in adopting those standards. But the approach which Bharat Alliance, 6G Alliance had sir brought up, where we need to bring in all the stakeholders in this ecosystem, starting from the academia, the research institutes, to the manufacturing people, the spectrum allocators, the government, as well as the operators, the private players, and the SATCOM players also. They need to be brought into the loop well in advance so that the proposition that we take at WTSA will ensure that we can make our mark in this industry for our benefit, for our own socio-economic development, and also for making us a leader in terms of export of communication services. So with that, in the rest of time, I'll rest my case and thank you for this opportunity.
So thank you, Puri, for your insights into the opportunities that we have as a country in manufacturing. So I will just put one question first to Mr. Pathak. Mr. Pathak, since you were also involved in starting TSDSI, Telecommunication Standards Development Society of India, which is one of the organizational partners in GGPP and also one in 12. How do you see TSDSI taking lead role for in the satellite segment also? How do you, what kind of recommendations do you think you can give at this point?
I think, sir, as far as WTSA, I just wanted to just supplement that this is an opportunity for Indian startup where they can't travel to those meetings. So if they join those 10 days, their sessions of interest, so again, I think we don't have the culture of standard development, that's also missing. So academia is doing a lot of research, but they don't know that they have to conclude they are doing something like publishing papers in IEEE and they are very satisfied that I did so many citations and I don't know what are the various words we use. Because that gives them the promotion. So I think we have to come out from the papers and all those things because that's just art of writing. We have to go for development of technology. And even output should be a development of technology wherever there is a government funding. And more important is that how to influence the standard making process. So this WTSA will give this opportunity to our students. Actually, release 17 came in FR1. The satellite first came and discussed in release 17 of 3GPP. Release 18 they have gone to FR2. And they feel that by 20, I think the last of advance, they will be discussing this convergence part. But if we are very active and can we take the lead from India, because I am waiting that some other country will just say that why don't we join their they call it resolution as schools. Can we initiate our own research, influence, and say, hey, this is the standard, this is the frequency, entire world should be. But that will then only, once you become leader, then only you will be the innovator. And there is a lot of opportunity for academia, even industry, startup, postdoc, working. From the very beginning, they should work in TSDSI. If TSDSI is taking the fee, then you can join me, RCTLI, because we are funding pre-standardization. I am working with the not only Department of Telecommunication, but even DST, MIT, and others. How can we prepare ourselves for some 2 years advance? In fact, 60 will come at 2030, I don't know, 35. Whether an event going on, whether we call it 60 or release 21. I have been part of this discussion. So I say that I will say 60, they say release 21. I mean next technology. But main question is that are we part of this technological race, and we have to be, and we have to see that what are the various actions government has to do, industry has to do, academia has to do, and from their papers they have to go to technology development. Even Bangalore is, I feel that Bangalore is a good learning and it gave a lot of lessons for us. So this is my thought process on this part. And one more, just only one. The 6G will be all softwareization. Even 5G core will most likely be the same because operators are not in the mood to again invest in 5G core. So it will be just software upgradation or softwareization and adding some more stack there. So this is a lot of opportunity for our Indian students here who will be postdoc and software field, and even software companies to join this 6G development process for the very beginning. Dealing hardware and software, keep them in 2 buckets, and then work more on software. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Pathak. So, question to Mr. Rajith. As Madam Puri said, there is a lot of manufacturing opportunity lying in the country, in the satellite industry. So, what would be your key asks from the government? Let's say one or two important things which you feel the government take those steps, and it will make the challenge much more easy.
Sir, we have to the question, sir. Completely review the current requirements. There is a need to the university have team to review the current requirements in the mood of the industry. That should be incorporated. And one more thing is that you should allow the lot of participants to go to the it's good for opening for startups and academics. I will say it's good opening for even government officials because you will not be able to afford send everybody to they know the what is the environment and standing. So this will happen to bring this tendency. So you must have my request is that sir, our government from DOT and other related government organizations even from private industries like this, we should participate in the maximum there. So that will give us how the standards can be maneuvered to meet the industry needs.
I have one just supplemented that already all the satellite products are part of PLI scheme of telecommunication. If anyone wants to manufacture within the country, so you have already enabled it, and lot of EMS companies, even Foxconn, Textronics, Sanmina, in fact I was in charge of PLI and they brought this SK. So there is no any equipment related to telecom and networking which is not part. So I think I invite you all that if you are not manufacturing, there are 42 companies you can get those products manufactured in India, not only for India but for the world. I think she is referring to exports. So Nokia is manufacturing entire 4G, 5G. This with the JB, even Ericsson is doing for the world. So this is the right opportunity for you also to join this and manufacture in India for the world, and you will be getting incentives from 7% to 4% staggered over the 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Ali and Mr. Pathak, for those inputs. Just to also mention that DOT has also has a telecom technology development fund. So if you are into the development of technology, so there is a lot of opportunity. At present, every year the target is to disperse 500 crore. But yes, there should be product certain level of maturity. So I think you can have a look at those who are into the technology development. You can have, in fact, I remember one of the proposal was one company requesting for funds with the core equipment being in the satellite. So they wanted to launch a satellite, but the core equipment which is so very central and there are few nodes in the network, they wanted to keep it in the satellite. So I think government has taken many steps from PLI to this technology development. It is up to the industry or the startups or the SMEs and the young entrepreneurs to have a look at that and maybe take opportunity and take away those incentives that we have. So now, Madam Puri, the question to you is, how do you see the role of patents? So, when we talk of standardization, we always talk of patents. So, since PwC is the international player, can you throw some light on the how, because one of the recommendations or one of the asks by Honorable Prime Minister is that for the 6G, we should have 10% of patents. So on that, could you throw some light considering the international exposure that we see?
So IPR and patents in this globalized world are becoming more and more important. And like you mentioned, the Prime Minister's view that we need to have 10% of patents. So that is one way where we will be able to shape the industry and shape the roadmap for the global adoption of various technologies. So patents, I would say, is something that we as our research institutes and our academia need to focus on. These also need to be taken forward so that we are able to expand our global reach and to ensure that our industry players are absorbed into the global community. So we are not more dependent upon getting technology from the world. It's somewhere where we have to become suppliers of technologies. And international collaboration further. You were also asking, sir, as to what the government needs to do further. I think apart from this, patents is something where the research institutes can also come in. Apart from that, the international collaboration part also, G2G relationships, and how we take our services to the world is also something that we need to take along with the patent.
Thank you, Robert, for that insight. I think the patent facilitation is also something which the government is looking into. Just for your information, I think in CDOT, which most of you are aware, of course, Dr. Pathak is joined. There is a patent facilitation cell in CDOT. So our startups can really benefit if there any help is required. Because what happens is that once there is a patent, if you attend standardization meetings, those who have patent, they have the primary interest in attending those meetings because they want that the standard should be made in such a way so that their patent will be used. And such a patent is called SEP, Standards Essential Patents. That means if you have to implement a product using the standard, and if there is an SEP, then you will have to pay royalty to the company who has that SEP. So this is so standardization participation is also, that's why very important for our startup community, because unless and until they at least go there and see what is happening, it is very difficult to really push oneself. It is, as Pathak said, there are lobbying to be done. So it's a complete game in itself. It is not that if you have a product, you have a patent, and you go there and it becomes a standard. So I think, let's say, if you take, let's say, 3GPP meetings, you mentioned release 80. So what will happen is that the important stakeholders like Ericsson, Nokia, Huawei, Samsung, all those will be present in full strength, making whatever they have, little patents, become part of that standard. So it's a very long involvement that standards and standardization will take. And I can only urge that our young India take some lead now, and it will make the country do really well in the technology space if we are into the patent space. So I think we've almost reached to the time. If there is any one question, we can have. Yes.
Hi sir, we are a startup and we are executive here and we are collaborating, we are IEEE member and we are collaborating with user comms standardization. So it is happening to know that we are collaborating with US, but we are concerned not, we are not able to contribute to India. So are we missing something? If you can share light, what the platforms available where a startup like us can contribute to the standard making of Indian industry? Thank you.
So I don't know your history of maturity, but you can do like if you really have something to influence the standards, which will be after 2 years, 3 years, then TSI is the right platform for your research based. They are the member of 3GPP 1 and 2 ITU as well, entire sector member. However, if you feel that you can't fund them, because I think that's the lobby group, I told standard your lobby, standard divisions, then Telecommunication Center TEC, where Sir belongs in, there, they have replica of all study groups there in IT, and they don't charge anything. You can submit your contributions as national contributions to study groups in the Telecommunication Center. Even if you are not at this stage, then join the RCG Alliance. That's a research, one can say, consortium, where persons like you will be writing white papers, influencing the government decisions, getting certain funds as well. From the TPDF, there are other so many schemes are there, including DST. So I will request you that you connect offline, then only I will be able to guide you. In fact, I have been part of all this journey. I have been in TSI, in SIA-India, and RCG Alliance. So perhaps I can
very interesting subject on standardization. When you talk about the space, of course it's new, and there has been communication going on, which is terrestrial in nature, and now we are into non-terrestrial. So together, the moment cyber kicks in, and you find that the whole new cyber security and space security and communication security with QKDs and quantum satellites being launched. How do you find, because our next session is on cyber security in space. How do you see your standards impacted, or you think that there are challenges which you need to cater for, that in future your technical specifications and designs will have to conform to the future requirements of security in the spread space? So I'll be very happy if you stay back for the next session as well, because Isaac and SIA have signed an MOU together for creating a cyber shield for the space. So I thought, the forum that is now there that you are discussing this, you can like to comment it ahead of time so that we can connect to the next session. I'll be very happy. In SEMA, how do you introduce that?
That's an interesting development that is taking place in QKD. Now, QKD is supposed to be ahead. When there's an argument going on whether the quantum key distribution at present is required or not. But by the basic nature of the QKD, as it is supposed to be cyber secure. But honestly, it is a little bit premature for me to really judge QKD application in the space, because if you see QKD by nature, when we talk in the fiber, what they say is that the moment there is an attempt to improve the whole communication or the whole data transfer, it will be detected. That is the basic realm on which this QKD is completely based. But whether, let's say, if a fiber is carrying data and you touch it, you may not extract anything out of it. But even if you have broken the communication, broken the connectivity, then it's a kind of an attack. So even the QKD has some questions being asked, but I have no listing on the satellite. The WF paper that I just mentioned, it has something on it mentions that the US and China, they are taking a lot of steps to secure the space. Now whether it's the satellites also, it's a big paper. I have just gone through part of it. Maybe you can have a look at that to give you some answers. So I think so thank you. I would like to thank all my esteemed panelists.
Pathak, Mr. Rajith, Madam Puri, for their valuable insights into standardization, into what is happening, what is required for the manufacturing, and Mr. Pathak gave a good presentation on Bharat 6G Alliance, and we have a lot of hope from the Alliance to make India a leader in the 6G space. So thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that insightful session. So we proceed with the felicitation ceremony. I request the moderator and the chair, Mr. Shri Mittar, to kindly felicitate the co-panelists. We'll start with Shri R.K. Pathak, DG 6G Alliance. Mr. Rajith, Senior Advisor, Radio SIA-India. And Ms. Niharikka, Puri, Associate Director, Mittar. I request that the Chairman's panel to kindly felicitate the Chairman and Moderator, Shri Mittar. You can have a group picture as well. The entire panel together. Group picture. To the back. Thank you very much for this insightful session. With this, we move on to the next session of the day 2, the second session of the day.